Hi guys, and welcome back to Kizzy K channel. Obviously I'm Kizzy K, and with me is my gorgeous Joey.
Hello!
So, as we discussed in our last video, which failed miserably,
Huge success.
today we are doing a mental health talk, and so we are going to go a little bit in depth. We're going to talk about our personal experience with depression and how it's affecting us now, and how we felt before we got medication and actually spoke about it and became an open book. So, who wants to go
And
first?
also talk about the side effects and things of medication that they don't tell you.
And a disclosure, we are not doctors, we have no medical training, so anything that we do discuss that is in regards to medication or anything like that, please know that this is just a personal experience. This is a personal review on how we feel when we take our medication and whatever
Everybody
else
will be different.
we need to do. So, who wants to go first?
I don't mind.
You go first.
Where am I with my mental
Ladies
health?
first.
So, I've been on fluoxetine for 2 months now. I've had mental health problems since I was probably 11, 12. I was on antidepressants when I was younger, but I didn't stick with them because when you're 16 and you don't get an instant result or you don't like the side effects, obviously you're going to stray. So yeah, long history of mental health problems, and then I recently went to the doctors and admitted, could probably do with some help. I was diagnosed with severe depression, anxiety disorder and PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder for anyone that doesn't know. Not going to go into what caused the PTSD because it's more than one thing and it's not really something that you need to know at this stage, but yeah, been diagnosed with that. So I was prescribed fluoxetine as an antidepressant and anti-anxiety, and those magic other ones, Zopiclones, which are sleeping tablets, because a massive thing is depression. You either sleep for 18 hours or you don't sleep at all, you know. So
there's no in between on that one.
Yeah, it's...
You're either an insomniac or you're a sloth.
Yeah, and but even if you sleep for 18 hours, you don't feel rested because it's not decent, solid sleep. Waking up every half an hour, it's not good.
Yeah.
So the doctor decided, she gave me 7 sleeping tablets to start with, and before I even took the antidepressants, I took the sleeping tablets for 2 days, so that I got 2 really good nights sleep, and honestly, that made a huge difference. Obviously it did not cure anything, but it was good to get 2 really good nights sleep, and then I saved the rest for when I started the medication, because a side effect of fluoxetine and many antidepressants is it can cause insomnia.
Yeah.
So I saved them for days where I really couldn't sleep, and that was a massive help. I'm on month 2 of taking them now. I was supposed to have a medication review face-to-face with the doctor after the first month. Sorry, the cat's trying to get in the bag. Supposed to have a face-to-face, but my doctors are so rubbish. Making an appointment is nigh on impossible. You can't book an appointment for in 3 weeks' time. You have to ring up every single day to try and get them.
Yeah. And now in the coronavirus,
our doctors has been put on lockdown. So,
and I also actually read that because of the coronavirus, if you think you have it and you call up the doctors, you're not allowed to be seen face to face. They have to Skype you.
Yeah, you've got to stay where you are and stay away from the doctors.
I mean, that's not really good though, because how can you kind of look at somebody on the camera and be like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. They're trying to prevent the spread, but anyway. So I had to, instead of having a face-to-face medication review, I had a telephone medication review, which not as good as a face-to-face, but
You can't have all my bags.
It's what you'll do. The doctor has kept me on the same dose that I started on. She's going to keep me on that for this month, just so that my body's had 2 months to get used to it, and then she's going to up my dose, because to go from nothing to like 60 milligrams is going to kick you in the backside, basically.
Very much so.
So that's the medication I'm on, and what I've been diagnosed with. Oh, and I've also got to have intensive psychotherapy.
Yeah, a lot of depression and PTSD and any traumatic events. They do offer counselling as well.
But they only offer you 6 sessions. So luckily my doctor recommended I can't remember the name of the service. I think it's called Worcester Helping Hands or something like that. But you refer yourself to them and they look at you. But it's still an NHS thing, but you can have as many sessions as is needed. Whereas if you do it via the doctors, unfortunately, you only get 6 sessions, which, as my doctor said, will do nothing. It will bring up all the trauma and it won't do anything about fixing it. So,
unfortunately, depression's not a thing you can fix. It's not a...
No.
There's no solution to it. You know, if you've got depression, I think you're always going to have depression. It's just the way you deal with it is whether you're going to have a good outcome and, you know, live your life how you want it, or you let the black dog, as they call it, in and take over. And, you know, unfortunately, we have lost a fair few people, unfortunately, to suicide. So that's obviously doesn't really help when we have PTSD either. You know, I mean, good friends, just next thing you know, they're just not there, and it's just like, I saw them like a few days ago, and well, from what the doctor thinks, one of the I've had PTSD for a long time, from what she can tell, because of childhood traumas and stuff. But a more recent one, somebody in my life committed suicide 2 years ago, and that amped up the PTSD, which is why things took quite a downhill turn. But I've done it, been to the doctors, because I've got people like his, I've got my fiance, they've all, pretty much everyone in my life has got some form of mental health problem or a very good understanding of it, so I'm lucky in that sense. I know I'm not alone, none of us are alone. So that's a big help as well. And I think with people who do suffer with depression or anxiety or something, they struggle to talk about it, and that's, I think, why a lot of people do commit suicide, is because they feel like they have nobody to talk to. But I'm going to say it now. I mean, if there is anybody on my YouTube subscription, or anybody who watches this, if you are feeling depressed or you've got thoughts that you don't like, reach out to me. I'm you know, I haven't gone through everything, obviously, but I've gone through enough. And I think, I like to listen to people. I do like to help people out. So even if you just want to talk and just rant and rave, and I'll just be quiet and just listen while you get it all out, that is the step you guys do need to take. You know, if you can't talk to your family or your friends, there are suicidal awareness hotlines that you can call, like the Good Samaritans. There's like loads of others.
There's quite a few. Also, reach out to coaches, because a lot of the time, talking to a stranger about it is easier than talking to somebody you know.
100%.
Because a lot of the time, when we have problems, as much as we'd love to talk to somebody about it in our life,
we feel like we're burdening people.
And you don't, especially if you know, like, so-and-so has got a mental health condition and I'd love to reach out to them, but I don't want to put my problems onto them and make them feel worse. And they feel it's a two-way street, that you both, where everybody feels like that. But sometimes, even if you just reach out and it's just a, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, like we talk?
Yeah. It's so simple. It sounds so simple. Yeah. Actually doing it is more difficult.
Yeah.
But it's...
but it is something... You know, you kind of have to do. I think you do have to reach out, even if you're talking to a stranger, or you call up the hotline and be like, I don't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like everything's going wrong, I want to kill myself, or I'm thinking of doing this, or I've been harming myself. Just saying those simple things is that step forward. And then people will help you to keep going forward, to go to the doctors, to seek professional help, to go to counselling, medication, even though I don't always agree medication is the first thing you should go on.
Yeah.
But it does kind of, you know, is still a step that if the doctors think, you know, okay, we want to start doing medication and then we'll get you into counselling and we'll keep going from there and just have an active plan, then you're doing the right thing.
And also ringing any of the mental health hotlines, the people that you're talking to, they are trained. They know what they're talking about, and they are not there to judge you. No. That's the biggest thing. They are never ever there to judge you.
No.
They are there to help, because like a lot of the time the people that man the call centres are volunteers. They do it because they genuinely care. They want to be there to help. They've probably gone through things themselves.
I was going to say, there's a very high chance that they've lost somebody they loved, and somebody close to them that's made them go, I don't want to see people do that. I don't want to see people have that struggle, and go and volunteer at places like this. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
To be able to listen to somebody's problems, and even if they don't seek any more help after that, the fact that you've listened for 15-20 minutes and it's relieved that burden off them, that's such an amazing thing to do for anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
So please reach out.
Yeah, 100%. There's hotlines, friends, families, doctors, us, like just anybody that you think would actually be like not judgy, nice good listening ear, and even if they don't advise you on something and you just want to rant, rave, scream, shout, cry, do it.
Sometimes like, even just
don't hold back.
Yeah. Or if that seems like too big of a step for you, write your feelings down.
Yeah, maybe do a journal.
Yeah. Write them down. Even if you screw them up and put them in the bin, it's still a release. It is getting out of your head what is going on. Or if you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody, write them a letter, and they can read it and process it in their own time and get back to you in the best way they think.
Yeah.
Whatever you think is going to be the best way for you, little baby steps. On it, baby steps is the way forward. Yeah. Don't try and like run before you can walk.
No.
It's a big scary step, but there's so many different ways to do it, and once you've done it, the relief is immense.
And knowing that you're gonna keep going forward, you know, do things that you want to do. You know, they always do say live today as if it's your last. Do that. I mean, not saying it is going to be your last day, but do it. If you've got a crush on someone, tell them. You want that job promotion, tell the boss. You want to move out, go for it. As long as you are stable financially and you've got help, obviously, then do that. You know, even if you don't think you're going to get the results that you want, at least you've tried. At least you can say, well, you know, I told so and so I loved them, and they didn't love me back, but I told them.
Yeah, that situation. What's the worst?
Yeah.
If you're not with them already and you tell them how you feel and they don't feel the same, you haven't lost anything because you haven't stepped back, gone back a step. You've just been honest.
Yeah.
And there's always the chance that they might feel exactly the same.
Exactly.
But yeah, do things that just small things, like say you going to the shop, like if that's, especially if you have anxiety and things like that, going to the shop can be a big thing. But even just going to the shop to get a pint of milk and getting home, that's a big step, and you will feel like, yes, I've done something, I've achieved something. And it's little things like that build up to really help with your confidence. I'm not saying, you know, go and run the London Marathon or go to a busy shopping centre and spend all day there. No. But just do some small things. Or even just, like, I know there's days where just going and sitting in the garden Because it's that thing of your house is your safety blanket and you don't want to leave that. Going out into the outside world is bursting the bubble.
Yeah.
So going and sitting in the garden with a book and your music, it's some fresh air, it's something different than just sitting inside looking at a screen, which, let's be honest, we're all addicted to our phones and our TVs and social media and all those things which don't help.
But it is nice to be able to have, even if it's just a half an hour break from the social world.
Yeah.
It's something. I guess I should talk about mine now, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
So with my depression and anxiety and other problems, as a lot of people, I was bullied throughout school, first school, middle school, high school, college.
Yeah.
Obviously that didn't help. I was very poorly when I was little. I had what my mum called poorly blood. It was linked to leukemia, but it wasn't cancerous, but I was in hospital for a good couple of weeks and my immunity was really low, and it still is. You could literally flick my skin and I would come out in a gigantic bruise and have like slight internal bleeding. So I had to go and I had a lot of time from school from that, and then I got diagnosed with a condition called maltracking disease. So that was interesting. I'd always complained of leg problems, leg pains, and I could never really do PE. And then I was about 11 or 12. I had to go for an MRI, and they discovered that I had 2 extra bones growing out my kneecaps on both sides. And I had to wait until I was 16 to have them operated on, because I had to wait until I'd stopped growing. And then I had an operation, and then I waited a year, had the other operation, and one of them went really wrong, severely infected, and it was disgusting, and that's been playing up. I'd only got it done last year. They had to go in and check and wash it out, and I'm still having problems, but whatever. And then I was 13, about 13, when the doctors said I had depression and PTSD. I had a trauma when I was younger. I'm not ashamed to say I was groomed by a friend's family member who we were really close to and we actually really trusted, and I was groomed from him for about 3 years. Didn't get to any sexual parts, but nonetheless I was still being groomed. And then he got caught because he was doing it to another girl. The family found out, reported him, and he had 200 hours community services as a punishment for grooming 2 kids. All because he was about 68 years old at that point. And I was just like, what's age got to do with anything? If you're a pedo, you've got to go do your time. But they didn't see it that way. So that obviously caused me PTSD, my depression, obviously from bullying, being groomed. I got raped at 16 by my first proper boyfriend, and beaten. So obviously that was a very, very traumatic experience. And then just lots of little simple things add up in my depression. Like my dad had a bike accident 10 years ago. We thought he was gonna die, but thankfully he isn't. But he is actually paralysed now from the chest down, so he can't feel anything. So that was really, really hard to come to terms with, my dad being in a wheelchair and he's never going to walk again. Because I'm used to, seeing my dad, he's like 6'5", this wonderful man, and now he's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and in constant pain. So, but to be fair though, the bright side is, my dad's a very strong person, so I look up to him. And my mum's a very strong woman, and I look up to her. She's disabled herself. And then, so I look up to them because of how much they've accomplished, what they've come through, how they're dealing with it. So I'm looking to them for inspiration, as well as many other people that I have friends, members. And You know, I'm just grateful that every day I have these people around me to talk to, vent to, cry, shout, whatever. And I'll just sit there and be like, just tell me, talk. And then there's no judgment. I think the medication that they put me on, for my depression, they put me on sertraline to begin with, but my body didn't like sertraline. It ended up making me more suicidal. So I had to get off that, and then they put me over to venlafaxine, which I've now been on for the past 12 years, I think. And that's, you know, I've had no reactions to that. I mean, sometimes I sleep a lot, but I do have fibromyalgia as well as other health issues, so it's kind of hard to figure out if it's my depression that's causing me to sleep too much, or it's my health that's causing me to sleep too much, or not enough, or so it's kind of a battle to find out.
Yeah, it's a balancing act with you.
Yeah, it's an awkward thing, but you know,
unfortunately with you, your depression can also affect your fibromyalgia,
and then my fibro can affect my depression. Yeah, so it's
kind of like a circle of.
Yeah, my yin and yang are not very in sync, so they're kind of having an argument with my body. That's what I feel like. But
that's a really good way to put it. It is literally your body's arguing
it's your
with
yin
itself.
and yang. It's your good and your bad side, and you know, normally they fit nicely, but mine are kind of trying to go like this instead of like this.
It's like a square peg trying to go in a round hole.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh god, I hate that image in my head. I really hate that image. But so I'm on venlafaxine for my antidepressants, Zolpidem for sleeping. I have to take them every single night. I'm on tramadol for my pain. Unfortunately, it is an addiction. Tramadol is a highly addictive medication, and I've been on it so long now, I hold my hands up and I say, yes, I'm a tramadol addict. But there's nothing that can really be done, because it's the only thing that slightly helps my pain. I'm on oral morphine for my pain. Bless you, baby. And because I have a slight reaction to the morphine, I have to then have a very, very strong antihistamine called promethazine. So yeah, I sound like a rattling bloody medicine box, honestly. I legit think one day I'm going to be so empty, or you're going to hear it rattle, 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 rattle. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not ashamed to talk about my trauma or what's caused it. I kind of feel more empowered when I talk about it, because I'm like, you know, grooming doesn't have to be a sexual thing. It's also a mental thing, and a physical thing, and a psychological thing. So the more I talk about that, the more people can then actually realise that, you know, being groomed isn't about being sexually abused all the time. It is other scenarios put into it.
Whereas I'm on the kind of same scale, but the opposite side.
Yeah.
Because I was sexually abused from the ages of 4 until 8. So that was the childhood trauma that
See, mine was 8 till 11.
Yeah, 4 till 8. It's not something that I talk about very often because, well, let's be honest, how often does it come up in conversation?
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Did you know I was raped when I was a kid?
Yeah, it's one of those. It doesn't come up very often, but I mean, like, close friends, obviously my family and things know. I did report it because it wasn't just happening to me; it's happening to my sister as well. So I reported it, and it got taken to court. He got found guilty, and much like in Kirsty's case, he got community service because at the time he was. Well, when it went to trial, he was 16. So.
It's kind of a hard situation when they're such a young age as well.
Yes, and I have run into him in later life. When I was 16, he worked in the town that I went to college in, and I went and confronted him, and he tried to spin it around and basically say he doesn't blame me for going to the police about him. even though he didn't do anything in his eyes. As he put it, I was a messed up kid and I needed to blame somebody. It's like, well, that's funny because the court of law wouldn't find you guilty unless you were guilty, you know. Unless me and my sister somehow at that such a young age managed to come up with such convincing conspiracies. Like, it was rubbish.
Yeah.
He did it. He knows he did it. Because I've had people that know him say that he's still to this day is under suspicion. So when I used to go to counselling, I reported it, and the counsellor, obviously, it was his duty to then report it to the police that there were suspicions. And he's now disappeared off the face of the earth, so hopefully he's in prison. But that was one of my traumas. My dad passed away. I watched him battle cancer for 3 years. I was actually in the room when he physically died. He died in our living room because he didn't want to go into a hospice, he didn't want to go into a hospital, he wanted to be at home with his family. So that was an interesting experience. And then a few other little traumas.
Yeah,
My friend's nan died and I had to prepare her body, like in the morgue, prepare her body because she didn't want nurses and strangers to do it. So me and her did it. That did not help my mental health. That started to make things go downhill. Yeah. Just been a whole like clusterfuck of rubbish.
Like I said, it's all the little things that you think are kind of insignificant to your life that actually do add on to your trauma and your depression and your anxiety, you know.
Because a lot of things with traumas and things, they can go undetected for a long time, and like I said, it'll be something small. Like you could have a falling out with your friend, like just a little disagreement with your friend, but that can then open everything and things start to go downhill. Or you know, just small things can make the trauma come out. So you might think, oh no, you know, I'm fine. Something bad has happened, but you know, I'm fine from it. 2, 3, 10 years down the line, something will set it off, and the floodgates will open.
Yeah. So I think our next video, we might actually do something on how to help aid you with your depression, like non-medical ways. We're going to do natural remedies to help with depression, anxiety, and just general health and well-being, and your mental health as well, with mental health well-being. So I think that would be a good one. We could do some exercises. I'll teach you guys a couple of things that I've learnt that I think have personally helped me. So I just want to say thank you for watching. Again, if you are struggling to talk to somebody, please come into my inbox and talk to me. I can give you my number. You can call me, text me, you know, anything like that.
Or if you want to speak to me, contact Kirsty. She'll give you my Instagram, whatever. And then Instagram's the best place. I don't have Facebook. Facebook is a major reason for mental health problems, so I just use Instagram. 100%. But if you want to like reach out to me on there, that's absolutely fine. Like I'm happy to talk to people. I'm more than happy to talk to people. Yeah. And like we say, we're not here to judge anybody. No. And we're not. Otherwise, we won't be making these videos. Yeah. We're not exactly going to pour out our problems and then go, oh well, no, you can't. You know, no. But we're not here to preach either. No. Like this is. It's genuinely just we have been in some very, very dark places and not know where to turn. Yeah. I know I've looked on YouTube at videos. And like there's a lot of talk about mental health, but there's not a lot of honest talk about it. Yeah. So if we can do that, then great. So again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully this has helped some people, if not anybody that's watched this. And we will talk to you guys next time. Bye.